Welcome to episode 127 of In Touch with iOS, a podcast that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and my co-host, Warren Sklar. How are you doing, Warren?
I'm doing good. It's all good.
And also with us, I figured I'd continue on with a continuation of Mac to the Future Go. We have Mr. Guy Serle back on the show. Hello, Guy. Welcome.
Hello, David and Warren. How are you? It seems like it wasn't even 24 hours ago that we were all together talking.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
We might as well just not even stop the broadcast and just
right. We all just go to bed, eat some breakfast, look in every once in a while, see if the other people are here. And I get it.
Just fix it in post, fix it in editing,
I'll put a pretty big recording. We are here because we want to talk a little bit about iOS, of course, but one of the big topics going to be today is installing iOS apps on an M1 Mac, and you two both have them, and we want to talk a little bit about it and how it would be something that you might want to do or may not want to do. We've got a lot of news. Beta, of course, is out, another new version, and some tips and all kinds of fun stuff like we always do. So let's just go ahead and jump into everything here. And first story that caught my eye was a lot of these stories are on Mac Rumors this week. Apple could be forced to include a charger with every iPhone sold in Brazil. Apple will be required to include a power adapter with every iPhone sold in São Paulo, Brazil, the state's Consumer Privacy Protection Agency has declared. And the public agency Procon SP contacted Apple in October asking the company to explain why are you no longer including charging accessories with your new iPhones. And of course, the whole environment thing they said, but then I guess Apple had to give in because the government said no. And what did you guys think? Guy, what did you think?
Well, that's pretty standard across the board. Everybody that was getting all upset because Apple was doing something that other people were unhappy about because China said you have to do that in our country. Right. Whatever country it is you're doing business in, I know you have to obey the rules of that country. It's a shock, but that's kind of how it works. You either do that or you don't do business in that country.
Right. So, I think France did the same thing. If I remember correctly, we talked about that previously.
The headphones. They did it with the headphones.
Oh, they did it with the headphones, right? Not a plug. So you have to have earphones with that.
And the story with Brazil is the law states that you can't sell a product where you can't where it doesn't function fully. And that's how the law was written. So basically they're saying, since you're not including a charger, you're selling something that's not that's fundamentally not functional. So that's the law. And then they also called Apple out saying that the environmental impact of including the charger would have been very minimal. So, absolutely. And I don't not agree with them. It's not a bad law. It's actually a good law. Yeah, and I think, I think Apple's not completely in the right by not including it. So,
absolutely. So, yep. I would not be surprised if other countries start following suit if they so feel it's important to be there. But I was fine with it. All of us have drawers full of those adapters, so I don't think I'm too overly concerned. So, moving on, let's go again.
I'm actually looking along the lines of trying to consolidate, get like a charger that has multiple ports.
Yep.
So I don't have to carry so many of them around.
Yeah, I have a bunch of them.
I've got a standard USB charger that has 4 USB ports on it, regular USB 2 ports. And I just get USB to USB-C or USB to Lightning, whatever kind of cables and connectors that I need in order to charge whatever devices I have on the road.
Yep.
And I don't worry about Apple's chargers.
No, I don't think you've been on the road for quite a while, so.
No, I have not, and believe me, it is a bit of a procrastination at the moment.
Kind of daily drive.
I see videos of him on the road way too often.
Yeah, too often.
Well, but I don't think Guy's daily drive quite counts because driving is job one.
It is. Sure. All right, moving on. Mac Rumors again. This is Google Authenticator iOS app has gained new export accounts option. Google has updated its two-factor authentication app for iOS with a new account transfer feature that makes it much easier to transfer two-factor authentication codes to a new iPhone. Two-factor authentication adds, of course, an extra layer of security for your online accounts and requiring a randomly generated 6-digit code every time you add the password. And it was quite of an evolved process when you had to transfer accounts to a new iPhone, especially Warren and I just transferred. But thankfully, it's no longer the case. So I don't know. I don't necessarily use Google Authenticator. I have to use Microsoft Authenticator for work. But I also can use it for that as for my personal account as well. Warren, where do you use Authenticator app?
I use Microsoft like you do. My work uses it, and
yep,
it works fine. I've tried them. I think I've tried it because
yeah, me too.
Actually, well, Google, I have I turned on two-factor authentication on Google.
Yeah, me too.
And it doesn't use the authenticator. It does a little, it gives you a notification on the phone, and you have to say, "Was this you?" And you say yes. Google, for all the security, for all the security problems that people claim them, they'll ask you 12 times if you logged into Google. Are you sure it was you? Did you a prompt on my phone? Was this you? And then 10 minutes later, at 4:00 a.m., somebody logged. Yes, it was me. That was me.
Yeah, I was up early. What do you want from me?
Guy, do you use Authenticator app that keeps your accounts secure?
I only change phones every couple of years. So usually what I do is I got all my passwords in a password manager. So I just put them in manually if they're not already in iCloud, and I don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, you could also use it to protect your accounts too.
I could, but it's Google. They'll forgive me.
They will.
Yeah.
Next story, again, Mac rumors. I was on a roll this week. I think it's had some good stories. Multiple iPhone 12 users reporting sudden drops in 5G and LTE cellular coverage. Since Apple launched the iPhone 12 in October, an increasing number of users of the new smartphone have been reporting persistent drops in cellular coverage. Multiple reports of the dropped 5G and LTE connectivity have been appearing on Reddit and Apple support forums, as well as on the Mac rumors forums, but many people just suffering issues when walking or in transit, and some seeing the same problem when stationary. So I guess I haven't seen it. So I get when I'm at home here, I'm on 5G. I get about 2 to 3 bars, and my speeds have been pretty good actually on 5G. It's about 70 or 80 megabit speeds. Warren, have you seen any problems with the 5G with your iPhone 12 Pro Max?
Probably, but it's 2020. I expect my cell phone to drop out mostly all the time. So
and explode.
I'm not. It will never shock me if I lose signal or calls. I prefer not to call anybody anymore because they'll never hear me because of whatever the reception. B will drop. It's just I don't trust the phone on a cell phone to actually talk to
how
people.
are you going to find out about all those great offers on your car warranty?
That's all. That every day I get about 4 of them. I like to speak to the vehicle owner. Well, for the vehicle owner, we
for your extended warranty.
So I use a rickshaw. It's a self-propelled rickshaw.
There must be some kind of major financial advantage to be to sell these warranties. It's like they don't sell anything else, just these extended car warranties.
And it's all crap.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, I'm getting it on the secondary phone I have because I have a number I don't even that's just a secondary number, and then you get those like daily.
Yeah, and they know exactly what kind of car you have, and they know exactly when your warranty is going to run out.
Yeah, it's the exact car I haven't owned in 3 years, 4 years.
I had a 2009 Ford Flex that had been out of warranty by the time I sold it, about 5 years, and
they still want to sell you
those calls. Yeah, said, well, your factory warranty is about to expire. I said, well, you're 3 to 4 to 5 years too late on that. So
I don't know how we got to that topic, but did you have any thoughts about 5G Guy, I know you're not experienced it since you have the SE. So
yeah, I'm on the SE too. Honestly, 5G is just really it's just really starting to roll out. So the fact that Apple and Google and all these companies don't quite have their act together as far as picking up these signals in a consistent way, and that carriers don't have their act together in making sure that signal gets out, to sit there and say, well, it's Apple's fault or it's Google's fault or it's the carrier's fault, I think it's kind of premature. That unless you are sitting there with an O-scope or some other kind of device that's like looking directly at the signal and connected to the phone at the same time, it's like, don't sit there and say, well, it's Apple's fault or it's this company's fault or that company's fault. They don't know. It's all brand new. It's still talk to me in a year and a half to 2 years once 5G is out there a little bit more, and Agreed. And it's more of a consistent thing than just what it is right now.
Yep. Next story, Mac rumors again. iOS 14.2 quietly adds FaceTime 1080p support to the iPhone 8 and later models. Back in early November, Apple released 14.2, of course, and announced with a slew of new features for iPhones. But one thing it didn't mention was the apparent addition of support for the 1080p FaceTime calls on an iPhone 8 and later. This little-known fact was discovered by Mac Magazine, which found that Apple quietly had updated the specs. And interesting that it wasn't there, because you can look up the 8 Plus as for specs, and it actually shows it 1080p over Wi-Fi. And the comparison tool, if you compare it to the this article has a picture of the 8 Plus, the 6S, and the 12, and then of course the 6S doesn't have it, but it's very clear that it had this. I didn't even know this, and I don't do a lot of FaceTime calling. Guy, what did you think? 1080p, does that make a difference?
I actually just had a FaceTime call last night. I had a neighbor call me for tech support for 2.5 hours. That's always fun.
You're dedicated.
I like to help. I'm a giver. I like to help people.
We all do.
So, yeah. Frankly, you're looking at a small little subsection of the screen, and it's typically going over, LTE or something like that. So you're not going to have the greatest signal anyway, and you're dropping frames and all the rest of that. So the fact that each individual frame that isn't dropped is 1080p, okay, hooray, wonderful. The fact that Apple was already advertising it but not giving it to you, I think is significant, and that is certainly something worth talking about. Don't make promises that you aren't prepared to keep, Apple.
Right. Mm-hmm. Any thoughts, Warren, on this?
99% of the people I FaceTime with, I don't need to see any clearer than I usually do.
It's like, no. Could you move back?
I just don't need to see the zit on your lip. Look at that.
It's usually my mom who's like, trying to position it. And I'm like,
all you can see is like the top of her forehead and up.
Pretty much. So now I can see it in HD. Wow.
Glorious HD.
Yep. Moving on, Mac rumors again. A couple days ago, MagSafe Duo charger for iPhone 12 and Apple Watch is now available for purchase. And they began selling that today, alongside with the new iPhone 12 models back in October, but it wasn't out and released yet. But priced at $129, the MagSafe Duo offers a MagSafe charging puck for the iPhone 12, 12 Pro, 12 Pro Max, and 12 Mini, along with the Apple Watch charger. Though the accessory was announced in October, it was listed as coming soon. It wasn't clear when it took launching, and now it's out. The unique thing about it is it has a foldable design, easy for portability, easy to carry around, but I don't see it needing it to be spending that kind of money for a charger when you can get so much less charger. It does come with the USB-C to Lightning cable, but it does not come with a charging puck, so then you have to buy that too. So it is not able to charge a iPhone 12 model at a full 15 watts support by the standalone MagSafe charger. Instead, it's able to charge at the maximum 14 watts when paired with the appropriate charger. So this thing is way overpriced. I never would thought, but then again, there was another article that Mac Rumors, I was just watching their video a little while ago, that I also bought that $79 round disc Apple Watch charger that flips up, and And I know thought to myself, yeah, I was crazy too, spending $80 for that thing, but I actually like that the disc charger with the flip up that that charges my watch as it's on my bed on my nightstand, and works really well. But this, I think this is way overpriced. What do you think, Guy?
I've got this. It's like these two pieces of metal that kind of come together and has a little cutout for the watch charger. Mm-hmm. And I don't have a phone, of course. Or I don't know. Does the SE have Qi charging?
I don't think so.
Okay. So, and then I have a lightning cable, and it's got a little tiny shelf that you can put your phone onto. So I just connect the lightning cable, and when I'm done at the end of the day, I take the two pieces of metal apart, it folds flat, and I'm on my way.
There you go.
And I think it was like $12.
And I have an iHome clock with the speaker built in and the charger, the stand. I just put my iPhone on, and that's Qi charging, and it works. Although I had to get the case I originally bought, it was one of the cases was too thick, so I had to change it out cases just so it would charge, because that's more important than the case. Of course.
Yeah.
Warren, what do you think?
Well, I was just looking at the price of the cable for the watch is $30, and then the new MagSafe thing was $40, right? So that's $70. Yeah. So you got $70 of parts in that thing that they're selling. So what are we talking? Another $60 in that plastic foldable thing is what it is.
Flexible folding thing.
Yeah. So
you
got
a new watch by the time you get enough cables and connectors and everything else to charge your existing watch.
I mean, it looks like it's a good thing for traveling, I guess. And I like how the watch thing stands up straight. It's nice. It's nice looking. I'm sure somebody on eBay's or not eBay, but Amazon's going to figure something out.
Anchor, a lot of those others.
Yeah. But like you and Guy, I have like probably 100 different mounts and things to stick my gear on already. I don't
stick your gear on there.
Yeah.
All right. Next story in the rumors department here. This Mac rumors, of course. AppleCare Memo hints at potential hardware announcement next Tuesday. I know, Guy, you've been trying to talk about this the last 2 weeks while we were on the Mac to the Future. Following a busy fall season in which Apple hosted 3 events this year. That's right, 3.
I know.
The company may have one more product announcement in store for this year in 2020. It was an internal memo that came out this week, obtained by Mac Rumors from a reliable source, informing that the Apple service providers that AppleCare-related changes were planned for next Tuesday and the December 8th, as we were recording this. Specifically, Apple has advised technicians to prepare for new product SKUs, new updated product descriptions, and new updated product pricing. So really what it's saying here is it was very cryptic. Of course, the old reliable Twitter user Love to Dream tweeted that there might be a Christmas surprise. There could be an AirTags and AirPods branded over-the-ear headphones, or maybe even a new Apple TV with a gaming controller that could release. So that could be one of those number of things. They've been talking about AirTags for the last 4 months, and it still hasn't come out yet. So maybe this will be the shebang for next week, but before Christmas. So, Guy, what do you think?
I think none of these products that they've mentioned are going to come out in December. And the basic reason is most of these products are things that you would have wanted to buy as Christmas presents or something along those lines. And if they're not even going to come out this year, then what's the point in releasing them this year? If you've missed the big holiday extravaganza that is Christmas, Hanukkah, so on and so forth, right, then you just wait. You wait until things die down a little bit, because right now this kind of stuff gets like lost. Well, not so much for Apple, but for a lot of other companies, when we've got these great over-the-ear headphones, or we've got this small little device that can play games that like every other streaming device can play, and it's like, and people are just kind of going, okay, thanks. Because it's Apple, of course, everyone is like either waiting to, take my money, or to sit there and say, well, I would never buy this because I feel that it's just not finest quality for bang to the buck, and I just wouldn't do it because I hate Apple.
Yes. So, Warren, any thoughts on this?
No, 16-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 chip.
That's coming next year. That's my next MacBook Pro coming.
That's coming. Year. No, that's coming next week, next Tuesday. That's
85-inch Apple TV. That's what it's going to be.
Talk about that forever too. Sure. All right, and then last story I had this week. It was a full out Mac rumors extravaganza here this week. Family sharing for App Store subscriptions is now available. iPhone and iPad users who share apps with their families through the Apple Family Sharing feature can now share their subscription apps as well. In App Store settings under subscriptions, there is a share new subscription setting that appears to be enabled automatically, allows subscription apps to be shared among family members. The new option is available on the current release of iOS 14.2. And Apple did announce the subscription sharing options as part of the iOS 14, iPadOS 14, and macOS Big Sur. Developers had to decide whether or not they would be implementing the feature. So now if anybody has an app, this will be a good example on my Pocket. I use the app Pocket Casts for my podcast listening pleasure, and I really like that app. And they have a $10 a year subscription. So now I could share that with my entire family, and they can use it as well. So, Guy, what do you think?
Well, even more so, this will lead into probably your next topic. It also means you can share them with your family on your Mac as well. Right. Mm-hmm. Those same mobile apps. So, hooray! Right.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Rod?
No, I was confused because I'm like, they already do this, right? But they do it with the Apple subscriptions. So
right, not third party.
You clarified that it's third party. Yeah, I'm going to ask my son what he subscribes to because maybe it's something good.
Yeah. Send it along to Dad.
Maybe it's some sort of gaming.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to our topics. As always, every week we talk about beta. Beta this week, iOS, iPadOS, tvOS. 14.3 Beta 3 was released about a day or two ago as we record this, as well as WatchOS 7.2. The beta still included a lot of minor updates, and still all it's really showing is that the ProRAW support, which was out in beta 2, is of course included for the iPhone 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max cameras. So I didn't see much else, at least what I saw. What did you see, Warren, as far as any beta? It's all the same pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same with the watch.
Bug fixes.
Yeah, they're
I got it for the iPad. I don't put the iOS beta on my phone.
Right.
But I got up this morning and it was like, oh, you have to sign in because we installed this developer update. It was like, oh, okay, cool. Haven't really seen any big difference. So I guess it's mostly just bug fixes.
Yeah, and then they also go through and talked about. We have some links to some articles on it, of course. And opening a custom app icon that's created in Shortcuts is no longer routed through Shortcuts app, and instead the app opens much quicker. We talked about that before as well. So a lot of the stuff that we talked about before is there. Like I said, nothing too exciting with beta. I would venture to say 14.3 is going to be out soon, or within the next week or two, I would think.
On Tuesday beta, when they announce all those new great products.
That could be it.
Maybe that is the product.
You'd be like, iOS 14.3.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. So another topic, which I just added here, so guys, this is a little new here. I've been talking some couple folks that I do support for. They've been asking me, and I've noticed this too. Anybody who has a Microsoft account or Outlook.com account that they have set up their Outlook.com email, after iOS 14 was updated early last month in November, everybody was getting pop-ups saying that their password needs to be reset. It needs to be reset. It needs to be reset.
Was it reset, or you had to enter?
Or you had to enter back. You had to enter it again. Yeah, and
it wasn't being reset. Yeah.
And I must have did it numerous times. The person that I talked to today, a coworker, said, "Yeah, I've had to do this like 5-6 times a day, every day for the last week." So he actually contacted Apple support, and they acknowledged that it is a bug, and they're working on it. I got a link in the show notes here to a Q&A document from Microsoft, but I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention for those of you who use Outlook as your email client, as your email account, that this is a known bug. So it sounds like you've encountered it too, then, Warren.
I've got it too. Yeah. And, you have to basically re-sign in, and then what it does is take you to the website. That's how they do it now. So it's
right. It opens the the actual Microsoft website. That's the Office. That's the Microsoft 365 authentication page. And
exactly. Yeah.
Put your password in again, and away you go. But then it comes back again. So
it's not the first time something like that's happened. It's happened before this release too. It also happens in Google because they all do it the same. Google and Microsoft do the same thing with the authentication page.
Yeah. All right. Anything you don't use an Outlook account, I assume, Guy?
Not on my phone. Just at work.
Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to the topic of this week. The fact that you can run iOS apps on an M1 Silicon Mac. I wanted to discuss the whole process installing iOS apps on your Silicon Mac, as well as ways of offloading them, and when the developer says it doesn't allow it, and all that stuff. And Warren, of course, you've had the MacBook Air M1 for a bit of time, and you've been trying this. What's been your experience so far with using? I know I installed the Mac Geek. I saw that the Mac Geek app can be installed on an M1 machine. Well, what have you tried to do?
Yeah, well, when I first got it, I had no idea how to do it, how to install the apps, because it's not. My son was with me, and they're like, "How do we get?" Because he wanted to get he wanted to get Among Us. He's like, everybody's talking about it. You could get on the new Mac, you could get Among Us on the PC, on the laptop. So I'm looking for it. I'm doing a search for iOS apps, and I can't see it anywhere. But after a little bit of time, basically, you go into the App Store. You type what you're looking for, and then in the list on the top, there's a little selection bar that says Mac apps, and then the other option is iOS apps or iPad and iPhone apps. And you click on that, and if it's available, you click it and install it, and basically it installs it as a regular app, and that app runs in various size windows, and I think sometimes it'll bring out the iPad version of the app, or sometimes it might bring an iPhone version of the app. So that and you can zoom it. There's a zoom feature that does work on some of them that makes it look a little better, but for the most part, they look like a box version of the iOS app.
Like the old days when you would have an iPhone app that's installed on an iPad, and then it would be the small iPhone version on the big screen, right?
Right, but even more so because it's a huge screen. The pointer works pretty much. I didn't try. I think I tried one game and gave up because I couldn't really do it. But it does come in handy to have, for a lot of these apps, to have a physical keyboard to use with it, because sometimes there's a lot of typing that you need to do, and it's tough on the iOS device. So mostly what I did, for me, I'm looking now, was like home automations, things that you can't get on the computer, like Nest, Ring, things like that. So it's kind of nice to be able just to go to that app and do it.
Yeah, on Google, I saw someone put a screenshot of it. I'll put that in show notes of where you see Mac apps and iPhone and iPad apps as where you choose if those apps are available based on your search. So
right, and it's a lot like when you do a search on like a fake Google store, when if you click on the iPhone and iPad app, if you do a search and all the real apps come out, and it's great search, and then you click on the iPhone and iPad apps, and it's like versions similar to, it's like Netflix when you try to look for a movie and it says here's something that you might like instead of this. It basically comes out with like instead of like Twitter, it'll be like Twitter bot or Twitterish from or Twitter dude or something like that, because it doesn't have a phone. It doesn't actually have the developer decided not to put it in the store is what happens.
And that's I was going to say that too, is the developer has to allow it if it's going to be available in the store. If you go to the Mac App Store, right? Then if you search for
pull it, it's automatically there. He has to disallow it is what he has to do.
That developer has to put it as disallowed and you can't search for it. So have you tried, now there's another method of doing it, right? There's a way to offload from downloading the app from your iPhone directly. Why don't you explain that?
Yeah, so the way they're doing it now, and I'm sure somebody else will come out with more ways to do it, but the version of the iMazing program is basically it's part of, it used to be part of Setup, but I think they got rid of it.
No, they pulled out of it. It's on its own now. But I've been an iMazing. I have a lifetime license. I've had it forever.
I do too. Actually, I bought it in one of the Mac bundles, so I still have it.
Me too.
So if you in iMazing, if you plug in a phone and you go to manage apps, you'll see a list of all the apps that it actually logs into your iCloud account and it will show you all the apps you ever downloaded. Right. And next to in that area, there's a little cloud that you could click on it and it downloads the app. You have to kind of find it. It's not in any typical location. You actually have to go into the library application support iMazing, and then you'll see like kind of a downloads area that you have to find it. But it downloads the IPA file, and from there you double click the IPA file, and it basically will move it to the applications folder and open. Mostly, I found some that won't open, but most of them will open. So I played around with that. I put the Tesla app on the phone.
Of course.
You did.
Which is neat. So, and what you could actually do is set your Mac up as a phone key to get into the car. So you can install the app and
sitting at your desk, you open the car and then it's all ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, you have to be close to it. So if you see me holding my MacBook Air with the lid up, walking towards my car, you're going
to be in real trouble when those 32-inch iMacs come out.
Why are you carrying that? I'm trying to lock my door. So there's some fun things.
Extension cord.
There's some fun things you could add to it, I guess, is basically what it is, but it may or may not work well. It's a hack. So, and Apple probably will kill it at one point, is what I heard.
You would think, because but back the old days, that's what people would do, is they would back up their apps. I mean, I remember doing that back when you would back up and you'd have all those
through iTunes,
through iTunes, and you'd have actually those. I mean, I remember having a crap load of files saved because a lot of times then the app would be gone because the developer would pull it, or you wanted to have a backup of it. And not that matters anymore anyway, because the apps won't work after time anyway. But
Apple could push something out that says if you try to double click an IPA file on your Mac, it won't work.
They can do lots of things.
And then the other thing is the app that you're downloading the IPA file has to be tied to your account. So I don't know how that works. I haven't tried to. I should try to put somebody else's file onto my computer to see what it actually says.
I bet it won't work.
Yeah, what is it going to say? You're not like, I don't know. But
Guy, have you dabbled in this at all? You have a Mac M1 Mac Mini, and have you tried playing around with this at all?
I've just to try it, and I did it pretty much the same way that Warren was talking about. And it took me a while because when I first got this machine and got done with the last update, it was like, oh yeah, this will run iOS apps too. So I opened up the App Store and it was like, again, like what Warren was saying, is how the hell do I do this? Yeah. And fumbled around a bit and then finally did see the little switch between Mac apps and iPhone and iPad apps.
Right.
And so I did Zombie Tsunami, and I did Lumafusion, and I did Among Us, which is why I was laughing when Warren said that. But the controls, and this has come up over and over again. The controls for these applications are just not great. If you don't have something in the app itself to say, okay, how do you want to control this app, and whether it's on your iPhone or your iPad or your Mac, then you're going to end up fumbling a lot. The first time I played or tried to play Zombie Tsunami, which is just a side scroller with these little zombies going across and eating people, and you have to jump over stuff. And that's really the only thing you can do is jump. Yeah. So I was like, well, how do I jump? How do I do that? And I'm looking at, and as I'm trying to figure out, my zombies are literally dying. So basically all I had to do was hit the bottom of the trackpad in order to make them jump. And it's like, well, there's nothing here that says how to do that. So you got to figure it out for yourself. The
experience is not going to be great, especially when
it's getting better. It'll get better.
Touch screen type of input. So you said you tried the Lumafusion. Did Lumafusion, was that installable on a Mac?
Yeah. As a matter of fact,
but you had to offload it with an IPA file.
No, it's right here in my applications folder.
Okay.
Lumafusion. I'm opening it up right now.
Lumafusion.
And there it is. Now I do get a sign in with your Apple ID every time I try to open this, which is somewhat disconcerting. Okay. But yeah, it stores the I didn't do it. Well, I'm just going to cancel. It stores the applications, as far as I know, right there in your application folder. So it's not like you have to do something special once you've downloaded the app in order to use it. It's going to be there in your applications folder. One thing I would probably like to see is maybe just make a folder in the applications folder that says iOS and iPad apps, at least for now in the very beginning. So you people that aren't aware of how it works will know that they're not running necessarily a Mac app, that they're running a mobile version of something else that they want to do. But,
that's good to see someone like Lumafusion. Lumafusion's a huge app on the iPad for doing video editing. And
when I've got it,
that's good. On my iPad. I own it on my iPad. Yeah, I didn't realize that you could actually that they're actually listed in the store on the Mac as well for the M1. So that's great to hear. And have you tried doing an editing with it on the Mac?
No, it was just like a couple of days ago that I started to look at that. And then when I saw what was in the show notes for tonight, it was like, oh yeah, I should really try this before we start to talk about it. Right. And unfortunately, every single time I've tried to open Lumafusion, it's asking me for my Apple ID.
Yeah.
And once I get that in, and then it's like, okay, I start to mess around with the controls a little bit, and then we started the show. So I haven't really had a chance to play with it too much. Right, so it's your fault. It's your fault, Dave.
No, well,
that's how that works.
It's okay. This is first experiences. I mean, the M1 Mac has only been out for a few weeks, and haven't seen a lot of chatter about this. So I thought this would be a great topic to
complain. People complain a little bit that says it's not the best experience, but
as to be expected.
It's brand new.
They stopped complaining when I realized it was something that wasn't there before and something that just added.
Exactly.
They could have easily not done that, and nobody would have said anything.
Yeah, and for all the people that complain about how the Mac is not a gaming machine, well, this opens up a huge library of, granted, relatively simple games, but there's some real great nuggets in there as well.
Yeah, so but it's tiny windows, that's a problem.
Well, but that's going to change. As developers make these apps, and if they're smart, this is what they'll do. They'll make the app so that it's more Mac-like when you're playing it on a Mac versus when you're playing it on an iPad or an iPhone. So once that starts to happen, I mean, we're going to see a lot of applications for the Mac that we never thought that we would be able to use. Lumafusion is another great example of that. Now, I don't think I would download like the mobile version of Microsoft Office, because if you've got an Office 365 subscription already, you've got the full versions there. Yeah, so why would you do
pointless.
That? Yeah. So, but this kind of is, I think this kind of gets back to kind of a pet topic of mine, where the computer that's in your pocket eventually is going to be the computer on your desk, where you plug it in and it's your desktop on a big monitor, and you're using a regular keyboard and a mouse or a trackpad, or and it's just going to work. And the crazy thing is Samsung already does it with DeX. And I had a device, and I'm not going to. I'm resisting the temptation to go over and get it. I'm going to leave it alone. I had a device a couple of years ago that did this, and it was brilliant. I was stunned at how well it worked in this little hockey puck shaped device.
But Apple's not doing it. Apple's not doing anything like that. What they're doing?
Oh, they are, just not out in the open. It's in their labs. You can bet it's in their labs.
Yeah, but instead of doing that, they're doing this. They're saying instead you could open up the iOS apps on your computer and use a desktop environment too.
Well, they're blurring the lines between what a computer is and their advertisement. Even though I hate the commercial itself, with the little girl sitting there saying, "What's a computer?" Yeah. They're blurring the line between what you do on mobile and what you do on your desktop. And eventually it's not going to make any difference. It's all going to be the same.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was a good discussion. I do have a link in the show notes from the Verge article that some things that Warren mentioned about you're not officially should be doing the IPA file and maybe block down the road, but you could take a look at that as well. Good discussion on this, and it's going to be interesting to see where this goes with M1 and iOS apps, for sure. So, next topic I want to talk about here is Apple did announce the top downloaded iOS games for 2020, and of course, none of us are big gamers. At least I'm not. And then, of course, you just mentioned Among Us is one of the top free games of 2020. I haven't even known this game before. I guess I need to check it out now. And that was one of the top free games of 2020, along with Call of Duty Mobile and Roblox, Subway Surfers.
Fortnite blows. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah. Do I see Fortnite mentioned? No.
No, you do not.
And then they said Minecraft was the top paid game of the year, followed by Plague Inc. Heads Up. Oh, yeah. Everybody loves Heads Up with putting their phone up to their forehead and you're describing something.
That would be really hard to do on the Mac version of
that. Would be, yeah.
Yes, just to say.
And of course, Zoom is the top free app. But, yeah. Of course, Zoom is one of the top apps. What a surprise! We're using Zoom right now. Everybody's using it. And of course, TikTok, Disney Plus, YouTube, Instagram. Oh, those are always going to be that. I link the show notes here to a Mac Rumors article. And there is a link actually into the App Store link and shows the total free charts and shows all these apps that are used. And many of them I've been using as well. What do you think, guys, as far as any of these apps you utilize? I assume you use a lot of these.
I honestly, I'm looking at this. It was kind of because we talked around this last night as well.
Yeah.
Other than some of the services app, Disney Plus, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, so on and so forth, I'm not using any of the game apps that they have listed here.
Right.
I'm not using Hot Schedules or Facetune or I've never even heard of some of these before. Auto Sleep Tracker.
Yeah.
I'm asleep. Leave me alone. Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. So, it's most of these I don't use except for some of the services, and these are all just fine apps, and it doesn't surprise me that they're on a top 10 etc. list.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Warren, did you have any apps that you've been utilizing at all?
Yeah, not much, but remember when they pulled the Plague app from China? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. Well, I have, actually, you know what? I have
played. Is number 4 on there, and they pulled it because they pulled it because of the pandemic, which started there. So everybody was downloading it. It was like the hottest thing. That's probably why it's on the list. But when the virus hit, everybody was downloading that game again. And I've played that game. It's actually pretty fun. You try to infect
kill everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone must die.
Die. Then next topic I want to talk about is actually I discovered this. Apple has really done a great job revamping their accessibility site, the website. That's apple.com/accessibility. It kind of touting all the built-in features that work the way you do. Make them yours. Make them something wonderful. So, things like the reading the fine print, the magnifier. I use that magnifier all the time. I don't know about you guys. I find that to be extremely helpful. I mean, of course,
Constantly.
a lot of us aren't real good with our eyesight, so it really helps immensely. I mean, I just did it today. There was a webcam that was broken in one of the tablets I was working on today, and I wanted to get real close to see, and look, the lens came off. So being able to see something really close is something that's really good. And then large text zoom. I'm sure you've used that. The guy, you think you've used a lot of these so far that I've mentioned. As far as that,
and it's not a big surprise. I think Apple has kind of
really have
led the way when it comes to accessibility and trying to make their products to be used not just by the I'm not even sure what the term is these days, the ably sighted or whatever, the terminology is. So, they want everyone to have the best possible experience in using their products. And they understand that not everyone is going to have perfect eyesight or eyesight at all. Not everyone is going to have perfect hearing and all the rest of that. So they do what they can to make it as easy as possible for everyone to use their products. And
absolutely,
the fact that they've kind of led the way in that doesn't surprise me. That goes all the way back to the very early days of the company.
Oh, for sure. But you just go through this list. There's just so many great things, and it's not necessarily that I need them, but they make your life easier when it comes to this. Like switch control, being able to switch the way you move. It shows how you can tap and scroll down and share. The back tap, that was the big, that's been talked about a bunch of times. I like that feature, and you just got to be careful what you set the back tap for, because I had the screenshot set and I inadvertently back tap, and sure enough, I got lots of screenshots saved in my photos library. So. But assistive touch, turning a pinch into a swipe, that seems to work as well. But yeah, I got a link in the show notes to the Apple's site here, and just talks about a lot of this great stuff. And the Safari Reader, be captive by content, not clutter. Turning assigned reading into easy listening. You can have spoken content, so you actually can have things read to you, not even have to have an app to read things to you. So.
And
voiceover,
with voices too,
and with different voices, and so there's just a tremendous amount of ways of accessibility and to help you get more out of your Apple iOS device, for that matter. So, Warren, do you have anything else that you wanted to add to this?
No, I mean, I was a little. I had some kind of sinus infection last week, and between that and a condition I had an issue where my hands was shaking, and I couldn't stop them from shaking. It's gone away, thankfully, but I was in there. I was in the accessibility area, and I went under touch and found a couple things that made it easier for me to use the phone during that time. So that was good. But on the funny side, I was trying to troubleshoot a iPad today at work that had the voiceover turned on by accident. And we were trying to. You can't even unlock the thing with the voiceover. It's like it says everything. So if you push a number, it doesn't say it. It's don't use voiceover. That's what I'm saying. It won't let you unlock an iPad. It was actually funny.
All right,
you had to be there.
No, that was pretty funny. All right, let's throw in a couple tips here. One tip I wanted to talk about here is, whenever you open up any photos and you want to be able to remove the location data, because there might be times you may want to send a photo to somebody and you don't want to share where it was taken, so it keeps it private. And the way you can do that is if you go into photos and you actually go ahead and select the photo that you want to share with somebody. Before you actually share it, there is at the very top of the bar, it says it gives you options. You tap that options link, and you can go in there and change the location to no location at all. So if you want to be able to change it, you just tap it and then switch it out to no location, and sure enough, you are going to be able to remove that, send it to somebody, and then they will not know where that photo was taken. A lot of times, a good example is like taking a picture of, like, let's say a keyboard or something you wanted to take a picture of. I think that doesn't necessarily have to be in something important to have as far as sharing where that picture was actually taken. And a lot of times you take pictures of people, you probably want to be able to do that. So, have you guys used that before?
No, I haven't. Not like that.
Yeah, I think it's a neat way to add that way of protecting it if you don't want that information to be out there. So. All right, let's move on. We got our app picks of the week, and Guy, we still need a pick from you because you picked a macOS app. I don't know if you've got something.
Yeah, I don't know what was I thinking. I forgot that Zoom. I'm having a senior moment. I forgot that Zoom has a chat feature, so I put it over there in Facebook.
Oh, you did.
I did.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering why my Facebook dinged.
Yeah. Robot wants kitty.
I thought that was code for something.
No. I have been playing this stupid game.
Robot Wants Kitty
for like almost 10 years. It came out in 2011.
Robot,
and it's basically like a combination of robots, Mario, and kitties. So it like hits all the top hot buttons for me. It's you bounce and you jump and you get killed in various ways, or your robot avatar does, and it's just one of those games that you can pick up for 5 or 10 minutes and say, oh, okay, my food is ready, so I can put this away now. So it's a fun little distraction game.
Looks interesting. We'll have a link in the show notes, of course, of this app here, and. Yeah, it looks like that's something that could be addicting. It looks like it has in-app purchases, so you probably can buy.
Yeah, well, because there's a huge community that's actually behind this game now.
It's not bad.
You can
$4
play like for free.
No,
yeah, well, none of that, but you can play for free all of the built-in mazes and stuff. But to get the most out of the game, there's an in-app purchase that you can buy that will open it up for all of the mazes and stuff that developers over the last almost 10 years have made. And so it's a never ending plethora of new types of ways to try to get the kitty. So it's fun.
Cool. And then Warren, your pick this week?
So my pick was, it's called Secret Photo Vault, Keepsake is what it is. And basically it is a application where you could store photos in that you need to either unlock with a pin or your face to get into. So the reason why I got this, and I got this a while ago, is at one point I got one of those minimalist wallets. It holds like a couple of credit cards, but not a lot, and pretty much has a money belt on it. I got rid of it. I hated it, but at the time I had it. And I realized, half the things in my wallet wouldn't fit in there. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Oh, so I decided for the things I could, like, cards and things like that, I was going to take pictures of them and put them on my phone. So I had them, but I didn't really want to put that on my photo album. I didn't want to put it in my photo library. So I looked around, and basically what this does is you can take pictures. It doesn't end up anywhere else. And it's password protected, and it's backed up too securely, and it lets you go in and I have like my social security numbers and my son's and my driver's license, things that you don't want to share out, and it's free unless you want to get it with a couple more features. It's actually expensive. It's like a monthly fee if you want to do
$24 a year yearly premium.
Yeah. But you don't need it. I'm telling you, you don't need to for just a free version. If you just want to store securely, things in there, it does a good job.
And would this be something you couldn't use this? A lot of the stuff that this does in 1Password.
Does 1Password store like actual photos?
I don't think it stores photos.
Is what they have. Their 1Password has notes.
Notes.
So
yes.
No, these are photos. It's specifically.
So it's just photos. Okay.
It's just photos. You're storing photos, and it's not password protected. It's iPhone protected either by Touch ID, Face ID, or PIN.
Okay. All right. And then my pick this week is an app called Light Leap. It was formerly called Quick Shot. You can now take the photos you want and actually are meant to take. It is a photo editor that actually proves you no longer have to be a professional photographer to take amazing photos. Really what this does is you can actually get, if you get, let's say you have a photo, there might be someone in the background that you want to take out. You could just use your finger, scroll over that part of the photo, and it magically just removes that out of the photo. And you can change backgrounds. You can add, like going from cloudy skies to a sunny sky. It's pretty slick and easy to do. You don't have to, do it. It has a healing tool. It's got filters, effects. So it was pretty cool. I just discovered this not too long ago here. So, and they do have in-app purchases. It is free to try, and it looks like they go all the way up to really expensive stuff, and it breaks it down to a lot of the different settings that it can do. But check that out. I think it was a pretty cool app to be able to do that. It works both on the iPad and the iPhone. So get nice big full screens.
It does
check
look
it out.
Cool.
Yeah, Light Leap. That's what it's called. So, and it looks like we have come to a close of this week. Unless you guys have anything else you want to bring up.
Nope, I'm good.
All right, great. And let's go ahead and wrap things up here. That is a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @intouchwithios, or you can subscribe in your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts and many others. But better yet, go to our website at intouchwithios.com, where all the links, all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter @DaveG65. Mr. Guy Serle, thank you for being here this week, and tell everybody how we can find you. You are welcome. How we can find you. Tell everybody how we can find you.
Oh, so many ways. How much time do we have? Email is guy@mymac.com. I am MacParrot over there on the Twitters. I have three other podcasts that I do. The mymac.com podcast is the longest one I've been doing for a very long time with Mr. Gazmaz. The Mac to the Future Go livecast that I do with these two guys right here, Warren and Dave, and something really crazy and stupid called Guy's Daily Drive, where I record myself in the car, just whatever happens to pop into my head. But I'm very careful because, as you know, driving is job one.
Dangerous.
Job one. What else? I guess that's about it. Oh, VertShark is the website.
Yeah.
Almost forgot. VertShark is the website. And VertShark is the playlist over there on YouTube. If you would like to check out the vast, and there's quite a few videos in there now, vast library of things that I have put up there. I think we're up to 166 in Mac to the Future. And I think I've done close to well over 100 Guys Daily Drives. There's a lot of stuff out there. And if you'd like to help support all the crazy stuff that I do, especially for buying microphones and computer monitors that I probably don't really need, patreon.com/MacParrot, coffee, ko-fi/MacParrot. And if you'd like to pay a pal, go to paypal.me/MacParrot. There we go.
And now, Warren, what's been going on at Mac to the Future? Anything exciting?
Oh, everything's exciting over there. Nothing. Somebody's trying to figure out how to organize their hard drives for being. She's a photo editor. She takes a lot of pictures.
I saw that post. Yeah. She's getting a little upset that people are asking her to spend money.
And you could go both ways on them, and I could understand. Some people are set in their ways and they want to do it the way they do it. And I've dealt with a lot of people like that too. And to change the whole system around is a thing. Those are
the hardest people whose desktops to look at.
Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, we could go into the whole story of it, but basically. Yeah, basically, it's we're trying to tell her that maybe like a RAID or a NAS is the way to go, but it is money, and money people don't want to spend, and I get it.
get people to come join
Backblaze.
join our group. Mac the Future is an awesome place to be on Facebook. It's a free membership. Come join 3,000 plus members, which is awesome. That's what attracted me to be part of it, and met you, Maureen, of course, in that group. And
now it's not completely filled with snark, but it's close.
There's a little snark from you, but once in a while.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's 20% snark free.
We keep the snark out. Anyway, thanks. Thank you guys for being here for giving us your insights this week. Everybody, we appreciate you listening. Thanks for listening, and we will talk again soon.